Hello everyone. So today's topic for presentation is photo theory, basics, and what are the things one should know, technical, even basic technicalities in photography. We'll see. So we all know there are three spatial dimensions of reality. Okay, we all know, no, which will tell us what is reality. Okay, so that can be that is possible by these three spatial dimensions. Can anyone tell what are those three spatial dimensions that will make a reality? Hello, anyone can volunteer and tell what are the three spatial dimensions that show the reality that this object or this space is real? What are the three dimensions? I'm asking. The three dimensions, meaning it here as three dimensions. Come on. Are you people there?
So width, breadth, and height.
Yeah. Length, width, and breadth. Okay. So these are all the three spatial dimensions. For what? To make things to understand us that object or that thing is real. So for reality, the three spatial dimensions of reality are length, width, and breadth. There is a fourth dimension of time. There is a fourth dimension of time. Okay, that is that photography gives us a chance to capture specific moments and certain ways of looking at the world and to conserve them permanently. So the fourth dimension of time, this photography gives you the feel of reality to just record the moments, to capture, say technically to capture the moments and to conserve them permanently, which will definitely make people to understand that is real. Okay, if you see, if anybody says anything, no, you won't believe. But if they have shown the photographs, then it is real. Okay, so that the fourth dimension of reality is the time, where photography gives us a chance to capture the specific moments and certain ways of looking at the world and to conserve them permanently. But if as soon as you have taken your first picture, no, a seemingly endless chain of questions that should arise starts to arise. Okay, you just ask yourself, what are those questions? Why am I taking these pictures? I have seen many photographs that you have uploaded for your assignment, in both the first assignment and in the landscape and portrait versus portrait assignment. The first of all, the first question arise to you should be, why am I taking these pictures? Who am I showing them to? What do they have to say about them? Okay, if you answer for these questions, this question should arise even before taking a picture and even after taking a picture. Just find answer for these questions. Why am I taking these pictures? You have uploaded few pictures on the drive, no? Just go revisit the drive and open the folder and you just open your image and why did I took this picture? What I want to show them? What I want to show them who is viewing this picture? And what do they have to say about it? What do they have to say about them? How good are my pictures? What can I do with them? What should I photograph next? This is the assignment. Like, go open your folder, just open your picture. Why I took this picture? Find answer for it. what I want to show from this picture to the viewer, and what you want them to say about the picture, and how good are my pictures. That's your personal thing. uh, what can I do with the photographs, and what should I photograph next? This will tell you the dish. Definitely there is a clue for all these to find answer for all these question is whether your photograph has captured helps to reveal the fourth dimension of time. Okay, so these questions alone make it clear that what are these questions? Tell me, from these questions, what we can conclude for what the photograph is about. Come on. Why am I taking pictures? Who am I showing them to? What do they have to say about them? How good are my pictures? What can I do with them? And what should I photograph next? So these questions, no, which we have to conclude with these questions, then we will find the answer for what we are doing photographs, for what we are make what you say capturing photographs. Any idea? These questions should make you clear that photography is always targeted towards viewers. So if you see the previous questions, who am I showing them? What do they have to say about it? How good are my pictures to them? Where they can receive, how they can receive? What can I do with them? And what should I photograph? So these questions make it clear that photography is always targeted toward viewers. So your photography is purposeful. There should be a purpose for your photograph. Even when you are the only viewer, your images need to satisfy you. So your any photograph that you're taking now should be targeted toward the viewers. So viewers here, if you are the only viewer also, your images need to satisfy you. See, in addition to your relationship with viewers, there should be some purpose. So, what we can say, no? Photography is purposeful. It should have some purpose. I'll tell you the difference between snapshot and photograph. Snapshot doesn't have any purpose. Yeah, just pointing and just taking a, just clicking a, just click your capture button, then it captures something. It's like a snapshot. It doesn't what you say answer for all the questions. Then it won't become a good photograph. Then the photograph is totally different. By asking these questions, then you photograph it. So the purpose can be diverse. Okay, photographers, the reasons they photograph in the first place will have a diverse reasons and diverse purpose. A few examples of purposes include, as we discussed in the previous class, like capturing moments, creating art, achieving the recognition, expressing feelings, getting to know people, or depicting a situation, documentation, promoting a product, using technology, or earning money. This was discussed very in a basic level in the previous class. So the purpose, the photography is purposeful. The purpose are create an art. It's creating art, achieving recognition. As I said, no, since photography, if you learn technically, the sort of satisfaction which we get is uh, not only from the viewers, how they see your photographs, from your peers' recognition. That is professionalism. You see, all the professionals, what they expect is they just need a peers recognition for your achievement and expressing feelings, getting to know people, depicting a situation. There is a capturing that moment, depicting a, by capturing a moment, you're depicting a situation, and of course, for documentation, to promote a product using the technology. So how what you say advancedly you're using the technology and capturing the moment, and of course finally to earn money. So this any photograph that has to be taken for some purpose. Okay, again this question, go and revisit your folder, take your photograph and see what is the purpose of that photograph. See the theory of photography. So regardless of your purpose, regardless of your motivation for taking pictures, there are few things to keep in mind as you read about and study the photography. For example, there are many different approaches to photography. This doesn't stop some photographers from claiming that their approach is the only way and defending their opinion powerfully. That is the reason, as I said, no, from the beginning, it has to be approached creatively and technically. Technicality won't change. That requires only the skills, learning, and it requires formal training or practice. Creativity, no, that is the approach, creative skill, and you can't claim that this approach is the only way, and that is for you to defend your opinion or your photograph powerfully. So also important to remember that judging a photograph as a good or bad is limiting. Judgments can be conferred on a photo only with respect to its purpose. It should not be in general. So judging a photography as good and bad is can be conferred on a photo only with respect to its purpose. Knowing the purpose and judging the photography, judgment can be conferred. That would be fine. It should not happen in general. So when you know intentions behind an image, you have a starting point to evaluate. As for judging a photography, you should have an intention behind an image will make you to evaluate or it successfully fulfill its purpose. So most people know they judge a picture based mostly whether or not it pleases them, whether it is pleasant or not, whether it pleases them or not. They mistake this one gut response for a universal measure of quality. Okay, whether if the photograph pleases them, then they will tell like this is a good photograph. So this foundation now will make you to right way to photograph the quality of individual images. Individual images can be taken in a good quality. So you have to analyze an image consciously and still find it unappealing on a personal level. Don't see judge a photograph with a personal level, even if it is successful with regard to its purpose. So this will sharpen the perception for considering the few concepts to think and talk about photography with more purpose. So as I said, no judgments can be conferred on on a photo only with the respect to its purpose, not on your personal level, not on the good or bad at your own way of approach. The role of a photographer and what are the characteristics. So, as a photographer, you have a fond of preference to take this one, to take your passion, like whether you realize it or not, that influence your images regardless of your specific intentions for individual pictures. So here, what you want to do is focus each and every individual picture. So that fondness of preference, no, the passion of preference, no, make you to influence your images. That is individual specific intents for individual image, individual pictures. So it might be important you to that your images are completely in focus and properly exposed. So, but other photographers, no, they may try to capture strong emotions. So, your present preferences will be visible in many of your images. What you prefer to photograph, your preference. Your short-term intentions affect the images you create. Okay, what you prefer to photograph and what you are able to photograph. When you consciously attempt to use a different visual language, or when you focus on a specific photographic task, no, you the deliberate intention will influence your result. So the fondness or the preference definitely influence your individual image. So keep it in mind to capture strong images. The focus and some technicalities, as it's like, no, the focus clear picture. If you're taking pictures for a client, no, you may be required to fulfill their objectives. For example, for certain genres of photography, they have their own intrinsic constraints, like for a journalist or a scientific or a catalog photography, there you don't have any fond of preference or your own preference to capture an individual image. Here you are taking pictures for your client, so you may require to fulfill their objective. So the shooting circumstances at various locations, impose additional constraints. So with this, the, all these factors, your photo aesthetic sensibilities, advertising photography is there, clearly defined target audience. So thinking of the target audience, so the two things: what you prefer to photograph and what you are able to photograph. So it depends on the various factors as we listed here. All these factors influence you and what you prefer to photograph, or rather what you're able to photograph. I'm repeating: the fondness, preference for your individual specific intention for the picture, and very consciously taking it in a focus and properly exposed picture to capture strong emotions and short-term intentions for the particular photograph. um, these things definitely influence the results of the photographs. And for if you're taking photograph for a client, then you're required to fulfill their objectives. For example, like journalistic, specific, scientific, and catalog photography. And when you're going to shoot in various locations, the shooting circumstances, it imposes additional constraints. These circumstances limit your ability to create images. So this sense, might be based on your aesthetic creativity. So there are certain limitations that has been limited by your location or shooting circumstances that you prefer. So all these factors influence you and what you prefer to photograph, or rather what you're able to photograph. So the actual activities of photography take place within these constraints. As we have listed many constraints for a clients, for your own fond or your preference. So here it's more than what you prefer to photograph, rather what you are able to photograph, influenced by all these factors. So the actual activities of photography, take place within these constraints: your choice of subject, the visual elements of your design, and how you apply technology. Very simple. Keep these three points in mind. These three things are your constraint, right? Taking a photography: your choice of subject, the visual elements of your design, how you're composing, the composition of the picture, and how you apply technology. Choice of subject, visual element of design, and how you apply the technology. Okay, so the visual elements of your design, that we'll discuss one by one. So, a photographer, the constraints for a photographer is the subject choice, visual elements for your design, and the application of the technology. So this results in, we can put it in a very simple: content, form, and technology. Your choice of subject is the content, the visual elements of your design is the form, and how you apply technology is the content. So when you take pictures, you're always acting on three levels. Any pictures, you're taking pictures, you're acting on three levels that influence one another: content, form, and technology. Content is the subject you photograph and the message you wish to convey. The form includes all the visual design ideas, decisions, and means that you consciously employ to discover or to craft your shot. Crafting the shot, that is the composing your shot. So it includes all the visual design ideas, decisions, and means that you consciously employ, or sometimes it happens accidentally. If you don't purposefully craft your shot, if you're not purposefully crafting your shot, sometimes it happens accidentally. But the visual design, the decision should be made very consciously. That is the form, the visual elements. The technology includes all the factors that make the image possible in a purely practical sense. So, irrespective of all the factors that influenced what we listed out as the constraints, they are narrowing down to three possible constraints: content, form, and technology. Content, the subject, you photograph that message you want to convey; the form, the visual design; and the technology, the factors that make the image possible in a purely practical sense. That is the technology. So camera settings and photographic equipment enable the use of various design strategies that helps us to the overall composition of the subject and message of your image. The starting point doesn't always have to be the same, but you might have a specific visual language in mind. Choose a corresponding lens and the appropriate camera settings. So these go parallelly. The content, form, and technology, like the visual language, you will be having some visual language in your mind that helps you to choose a corresponding lens and the appropriate camera settings. Appropriate camera settings. As I said, the content, form, and technology are all inextricably linked and their relationship. So you might start by attaching a lens and inviting a model to your studio to test the lens and that image it produces. Or you want to document a social outing by shooting from the with a small, not, you see, camera and being surprised with the results. So it doesn't matter if you start with the content, form, or technology. Keep these things in mind. Which one to start? Content, form, or technology? They are all inextricably linked, and their relationship always exists in a photograph for any individual image that you capture. So this applies to the process of photographing and the finished image, where these three aspects are evident in different proportions in any photograph. In any photograph, these three things are um, these three things, or what do you say? This applies to the process of photographing, and these three aspects are evident in different proportions in any photograph: content, form, and technology. So far, what we have discussed, I put it in three aspects where one photographer should know about taking their photograph. So, learning some technical technicalities. The process of photography, how it happens: the raw image, image editor, and the end result. So, the process of photography results in a raw image that is largely determined by the characteristics of the light sensitive medium and is preserved on the camera storage device. Don't make it complicated. A raw image which is preserved on the camera's storage device, but it's determined by the characteristics of the light sensitive medium which is inbuilt in the camera. So in digital photography, the characteristics of the sensor, such as a range of contrast, noise, performance, and blooming, influence the resulting image. Here, not only the content and form influences the end result of an image, here some technicalities like this characteristics of sensor, range of contrast, noise, performance, because it is a electronic equipment. It's an electronic device. The image editor in next line is in the process of creating an image. So you can create an image, can pursue an intention. So editor is often the same person who took the photo. But in professional commercial photography, it's not common for someone else to handle this work. So additional factors influence this editing. So an editor can pursue an intention that is different from what the photographer originally intended, even when the photographer and the editor are the same person. So an image may not suit the original intention after the editing is finished. That's the reason it's not real. So in image, no, which may not suit after the editing, what the original intention when it was captured the time, but it may be appropriate for another use. It may be appropriate for some other purpose. So there are also the external constraints with this image editor. So that is the reason raw image is always helpful to restore at any level of image editing. So the preserved on the camera storage device in the format of raw image. The end result, how the image looks. Eventually, the images have been edited, whether through manual or automatic means, how the image should look. So during this interaction, how the image looks, for example, colors render differently in print, on monitors, and when projected. For example, it, as I said, no, it's an electronic device. The color definitely differs from monitor to monitor and even the printer to printer. So that's how the image looks in this process of photography. That is the end result. Viewing images. The process of viewing an image include four factors. To view an image, the viewer must first perceive the image consciously. In other words, the image must attract the viewer's attention. He or she must actually see the image. Anytime an image is perceived, it elicits a subconscious response. How to view the image. So that can be influenced or purposefully manipulated by the photographer's selection of content, form, and technology. So how to view the image is perceive the image consciously, attract the viewer's attention, and actually how they see the image. So that is definitely elicits a subconscious response. A photographer can use this subconscious effect to move the viewer because the viewer cannot escape an automatic response. So the image should give a subconscious effect. So it is rare for your viewer to consciously engage with an image and analyze the photographer's intention. So this type of analysis, no, will definitely for a judgment of liking or disliking an image. I'll show you how this theory is applied with example. A tiger cub story. So not every photo opportunity offers ideal circumstances. So I want to tell here some five photographs are displayed. I want to tell you which what is a good photograph. Considering all the constraints and thinking of the major constraint like content, form, and technology, I want you people to tell to judge which is a good photograph. Come on. I want response from your side.
Sir, second photograph. Like, let's say top second.
Just a minute. This one, my cursor,
Yes, sir. Close up.
closer.
Close.
Okay. From others, I want you people to tell which is I am not telling there is only one good photograph. It's up to your personal level. You can think which photograph is good. Isaki Rajan has said that the second, the close-up face. Are you people there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come on.
Third picture, sir.
This one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kavya and Isaki is done. Then you want me to name you? Albin. Okay, just put your answer, responses in the chat box. Then we will move to next.
Third one.
Hmm?
Third one.
Third one, that Kavya's. Okay. Yeah. Just put it in the chat box.
Third one, sir. Okay. Yeah.
What about others? Only 4, 5 responses. Okay. As I said, no, there are the two questions, the major questions: what you prefer to photograph and what you're able to photograph. I think that will be applicable to this situation. You prefer to photograph what you say, a nice full shot of that lion or the tiger, but the constraint here is uh, it might be in the cage. You're not, you can't go near to that thing. Then how we can make our so this what you are able to photograph only help you to photograph this particular event. Okay, so here how it helps, that here the technology helps you, but still again constraints are there, as many have said that second and third, just a minute. Second and third, as you judged the second and third photograph looks good, than relatively good than the other photographs because of many constraints. This because the subject, the first photograph, no, especially taking animals, no, those things are not in our control. The animals, we can't control them to give a pose or take it. We have to wait, and we have the other side. It doesn't look the fourth picture, the glass and paints, the kids outside, just distracting. Some spatial, what they call it as the obstacles in the space, the spatial obstacles in the fourth photograph. And in the first photograph, the shot is fine. It's a nice composition, but the key object is missing. If the guy would have seen this side, no, then that's going to be the first good photograph compared with the other photographs. It happened. So these are the constraints. And taking a photo, for taking this example of with an animals, what we have some preference, we have some fondness in taking photographing this type of animals. But actually what you're able to photograph matters. In that, what you're able to photograph, three things: the content, form, and technology. The content is your fondness or your preference, and the form, how creatively you are composing. See the close up, as you said, no, the second and third one, the close up and this full shot composes a good, clear picture. That means it gives you a satisfaction or fulfillment that you have shown something, shown the particular lion's face. So, and also in this case, the constraint is we can't go near to the subject. So it clearly says the technology plays a central role in photography where everybody has to accept. So this example makes it clear that technology plays a central role in photography. You may be having your own preference or your own passion or fondness, but how we make it possible is the form. If you have your own creativity and you compose also, for this particular case, no, the technology only will help you to achieve your end result. So technology plays a central role in photography. It's clear with this example, and not only for this case, in all cases, the technology plays a central role. And it is always connected to the end purpose of your photography. Technology is a means of creating a desired design that depicts the visual content. So to depicting your visual content, the technology will help you to create your design. So technology, however, no, at the same time, technology sets strict limitations on your ambitions, on your preference when you determine the content and design of your image. As I said, no, these all content, form, and technology are inextricably connected. So this technology sets strict limitations on your ambitions when you determine the content and design of your image. The photo technology, the definition for photo technology is includes all the equipment you can attach to your camera and lens, anything you can adjust to alter the way your photos turn out. So to see two words, attachment and adjustment. No need to what you say, mug up the definition. I'm repeating, photo technology includes all the equipment you can attach to your camera and lens and anything you can adjust to alter the way your photos turn out. Two things, attachment and adjustment. What attachment? The equipments you can attach it to the camera and lens and adjustment to alter the way your photos turn out. So even adjustments caused by the use of accessories such as tripod, that you can see in the slide, the 3 legs tripod, underwater housing, you're going for underwater photography, flash, or any other lighting equipment which fall into this category. So adjustment. So adjustments to the shooting circumstances no have a technical aspect of any sort, cranes, ladders. So in a contrast to image design or image editing, photo technology is relatively easy to classify, describe, and control. It's just an attachment and adjustment thinking of. So knowing what you want to photograph and why is more important than technical know-how. It is critical for you to know what type of settings are available to you, how you can adjust them to achieve desired results or reduce undesirable results. To use photo technology, no, you need to pay attention to the circumstances surrounding your shot. So this knowledge won't necessarily lead to great pictures, but it will lead to technically flawless ones. So learning this technology, no, technicalities, no, will help you to give a technically flawless pictures. It won't help you to give you a desirable results. If you have a solid understanding of photographic technology, your attention will be freed. So if you are having a good knowledge about the technology or the adjustments in a camera, no, then your attention will be freed. You can concentrate on your subject and make decisions about your visual design. 3 things I said, no, content, form, and technology, content, subject, design, and technology. If we have a solid understanding of this photographic technology, your attention will be freed so you can concentrate on your subject and make decisions about your visual design. So with each additional technical element you want to master, you add your options for your image design. So here at the end, what we can conclude is knowing what you want to photograph and why is more important than technical know-how. See, knowing what you photograph and why to photograph is more important than the technical know-how. Technicalities, once you understand, solid understanding of this technology, will help you to free about from that knowledge. But this comes by training, again, by practice, by the combination of various technicalities. This will be learned very easily, technical know-how. So the progression of photography